Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Live from the Chair with Big Money Exchange. Tonight, our guest is Hunter Wolfe, and I am joined by the host Nathan Noss. Our co-host Big Money Dodge is probably busy making a OnlyFans account. I don't know. He just called in sick. So,
Don't don't
without
miss the
further
content.
without further ado, Hunter, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm clearly a professional wrestler. I'm from East Tennessee. I've worked in several different states, mainly the southern states of America, and freaking 7 foot tall, tallest guy around. Started to beat the alpha male.
I can see that. Um, so who were some of your wrestling heroes growing up?
So a lot of people see me. I am young. I'm 25. I grew up during the WWE PG era. So like the first guy that really caught my eye was Randy Orton. And I was like, oh, this dude's awesome. And him, The Undertaker, early Drew McIntyre caught my eye, and then when he went to the Independents, he blew up, and I followed him his career until he got back to WWE, and those are mainly my three main influences.
Very nice.
Well, this is normally where Big Money Dodge asks a question, but I don't know what he's doing, so I'll just go ahead and ask. Can you tell us your top five tag teams of all time?
I top five tag teams. Well, I have to put one because I work underneath them. Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, Rock and Roll Express. Shout out SOM. I also love the Hardy Boys growing up. That's because I grew up in the 2000s, and that was like the sickest thing alive. You have to put them up there. Um, I loved Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. Watched them growing up. Watched them when I started training, when I started learning doing tag team moves with my trainer, Matt Raby. And we also mirrored the APA because we were like two big dudes. We're like, we're not going to take crap from no one. We're here to make money and beat people up. So I took on the role of Bradshaw, and he took on Ron Simmons. And for number five, man, that's a hard one. Shoot. I'd have to go. I'm really enjoying FTR stuff. They're a real flashback to Art Tully for me. I enjoy their stuff. I mainly caught one of them when they were in NXT. But yeah, their stuff is really good.
Well, a
I
shout out
would
to the
agree.
AP, yeah, a shout out to the APA. Damn.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually met Ron Simmons once. And he took me to lunch. It was I worked security for Ric Flair's last match in Nashville. And Ron Simmons, Scott Steiner, and Teddy Long all came up to me and goes, "Hey, big man, where's a good place to get lunch around here?" I said, "Follow me. I'll show you." They're like, "Okay." And I showed them where the food court was. They're like, "Well, you're going to join us, ain't you?" I was like, "Okay, cool." And I sat down next to Ron Simmons. And I was like, "Sir, it's a real honor to meet you. I was a big fan growing up. Me and my trainer, when he broke me in, we mirrored our tag team after you and Bradshaw, the APA." He goes, "Really?" It's like, "Yeah." I was like, "We were big fans." He goes, "Man, no one's ever said they were inspired by the APA till you told me. Everybody talks about my WCW days and the fruit days in the nation, but nobody's ever said they've been inspired by APA." And that popped him. And I was like, heck yeah, I freaking popped Ron Simmons.
Well, I mean, just the table that you sat down with too, like Scott Steiner, Ron Simmons, and Teddy Long. Like that's like a huge table. I mean, especially tag team wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect table for three, right?
Uh,
So,
I can say this: Scott can eat. Scott has a meal done, and Teddy bless his heart. As soon as he saw me, I was in the security guard gear because they gave us all uniforms when we got there. He's like, "Big man." I opened the door for him and said, "Mr. Lloyd, nice to see you." He goes, "Big man, why ain't you in a pair of wrestling boots right now?" I was like, "Oh, you got me." But yeah.
So I noticed by watching one of your videos, you're incredibly intense when you wrestle, which I loved. Is that something that like is like natural like for you, or is it something that you had to work on?
It comes natural for me. Growing up, I did a lot of combat sports. So, like, I've always had that discipline and fight mentality, that line between discipline and fighter mentality inside me. I've won karate, taekwondo, and judo tournaments growing up. So my sensei's always disciplined me to, you're going to maintain your composure no matter what. But as soon as they say go, as soon as the bell rings, as soon as your music hits, as soon as whatever says go, you fight like you're about to die. And that's how I treat it.
Very nice.
Okay, Dodge, you got to quit. Oh no, you're probably being chased by a panda. Never mind. So
He's not even here, and you're still giving him crap about that.
So, next question is, what advice is your trainer? What's the best advice your trainer has ever given you, and do you still live by that advice today?
So, like I said, Matt Raby was my trainer, my first trainer. His biggest advice for me was never say sorry and always go out there like you're going to wrestle WrestleMania. Never say sorry, as in, like, if you screw up to someone, never, it's your, say it's my bad, I'll fix it. Because if you say you're sorry, a lot of times, allowing the indie guys, old heads in my area, they'll sit there and dog you for that. And wrestle like it's WrestleMania means go out there like this is the biggest match, the last match of your career. You want to go out on a high note, and you'll never miss a beat.
That's
Cool.
great advice.
Very good advice. Now, Nathan, you got to remember the panda loves you, so you're cool.
Well, of course she does. I'm me. So I noticed watching some of your matches that you were in a cage match with I don't know. You look like a horror movie character.
Cousin Condry.
Condry, yes.
Yeah.
I kept thinking of the Midnight Express, but I was like, no, that's not right.
No.
But yeah, that was a pretty nasty match. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So Cousin Condry is actually a third generation wrestler in the area. He's amazing. He's worked in Japan. He's worked all over the southern and eastern United States. Yeah, that match was pretty brutal because every match on that card was a cage match. And I was like, man, I want to go out there and I want to stand above all the others. Let's do as many big guy moves we can off the cage. And he's like, I'm down. I'll do whatever you want. We go out there and we're slamming each other against the wall. I'm giving them freaking Alabama slams up against the wall and turning them into spine busters. And the whole match ended off. He has this big, like, meat fork, like a foot-long meat fork. And he runs up and catches me as I'm about to climb over and stabs me in the throat while I'm on top of the cage. And I bumped back into the ring. That was probably one of the worst bumps I ever took because I landed high. Yeah. That was a really good match, and I was really proud of it because that was also my first ever cage match.
Very nice. The spot where you almost climbed over as a fan, watching, I went, holy crap, he's gonna like climb over, because you don't see that a lot with people that are 7 feet tall, right? They'll either walk through the door or...
No, I want to go out memorable. If I want to do something, I want people to remember it. So if I'm not leaving out the door, I'm going over the top.
Hey, and it worked because I looked at that and I'm like, he's gonna make it. I was literally like, come on. And then you got nailed with the fork. But still, You had me hooked. So. And I guess Big Money's like Beetlejuice. You talk about him enough and he shows up.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
And Big Money,
Oh, what
your
did I do?
question is brought to you by
don't.
OnlyFans.
A family app.
A family app for 18 and over.
No, I said OnlyFans, not TikTok. OnlyFans.
Hey, I can combine them together.
Okay, anyways, Dodge, do you have a question?
So I hear you love death matches, sir.
I
What's
said
a
he was in a death match. I didn't say loved him.
Oh,
I gotta go get Corey.
so how did it feel in the death match? And what's your opinions on death matches too?
So I grew up Knoxville area wrestling, Knoxville, Tennessee area. So I had that, and I wrestled a lot in Memphis. I had 3 years in the Memphis territory before Burt Prentice died, rest his soul. So like death matches originated in the Memphis, Arkansas, Texas area. So I'm okay with death matches. I love death matches as long as death matches make sense. Because the big thing is, like, for me, I have no problem doing them as long as there's a story where I'm going into it makes sense. I have a lot of buddies who do death matches. I like them. We get along. In my opinion, deathmatch for the sake of deathmatch doesn't make sense to me, but that's cool. That's a very controversial thing. But I have no problem doing death matches. I'll do a death match. That was the match I did with Belton Creedmoor. Was actually a build-up because I was beating down his proteges. He had like 3 proteges, and I was just beating them up, and I costed them their tag titles. So if you look back, eventually, I think it was a match against Beastman I was having. He came out with a sledgehammer and blasted me in the skull with it. And the fans went off. So
They call it a love tap, Nate. It's a
no.
love tap.
He came full baseball and swinging to the side of my head.
You mean kind of like what Panda's gonna do to you, Dodge, right? With that kendo stick.
Please continue. This is an ongoing thing between them, so we're not.
It's all good. But yeah, fans went off, and I was like, and we were like, okay, deathmatch. He's a deathmatch guy. Let's end this in a deathmatch. So I said, all right, I'll do a deathmatch for him. I did. And yeah, I had no problem going for glass. I had no problem with the fire spot. Growing up, I lived on a farm, so barbed wire. I was mending fences growing up, so I was like, this is nothing new to me.
Wow. Now, I heard you're 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that, right? Am I right?
That is true. You can't teach it.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. If you ever watch any of my stuff, I step over that top rope with ease. I don't know how to do the whole push down thing. A lot of guys claim to be 7 foot. They're like 6'6". So they push down the top rope and sit over. Watch any of my matches. I just throw my leg over and step over.
I definitely will. Go ahead, Tony Khan.
Well, and that's what makes wrestling. Well, that's what makes Nathan the wrestling encyclopedia, and you just OnlyFans. Nathan does his research.
At least I get paid for mine.
You know,
eventually I'll get paid for mine.
All right. Well, in honor of Big Money Dodge, I guess I'll be nice. Your top 5 favorite managers, and please don't say Big Money Dodge because I'll have to throw up.
All right. So top 5 favorite managers. Shout out to my pseudo dad Undertaker because one's Paul Bearer. Coming in, I was always compared as the Undertaker of the area because of my side, the way I have my hair down and everything. They're like, oh, you look like Undertaker's son. So I just started, no, that's my dad every time somebody mentions him. So Paul Bearer, of course, Bobby Eaton's too. Man, I really enjoy Paul Heyman's stuff, especially at Brock. and now his stuff with Roman. And I thought Paul was always great, even in Memphis area days when he brought in the old Midnight Express to fight the new Midnight Express. That was great. Jimmy Hart, shout out to him. I met him. He's a cool dude. And for number 5, shoot.
Go ahead, say me. Go ahead. Just say it.
Shoot. I think it's the best. I'll say for you, Alexa Bliss, just for you. There you go.
There you go.
There's not a lot of, truthfully, there's not a lot of like manager or wrestler stories, so I have to give her credit there. She started off as a manager and then became like one of the biggest names in women's wrestling.
Yeah, true.
Her.
True story.
You don't actually see that a lot.
No.
No, you don't.
But also, shout out to Daddy Mac and Lucky P, who've managed me in Nashville and in Knoxville. Both those dudes are really cool.
Very nice.
Okay.
If you could have one dream match with any opponent from any generation, who would it be and why?
That's hard to say. So, the first name I've always wanted to wrestle, especially since I started wrestling myself, because I started when I was 18. So I was like, okay, who around my age, if I happen to make it to WWE, what's the one man I want to wrestle? And that was Drew McIntyre, Drew Galloway, whatever you want to call him. And I was like, that's dudes big, tall, and intense. I'm big, tall, and intense. That'd be a perfect match of just two dudes slamming each other. A match against Undertaker would have been cool. Just size comparison. Brock Lesnar would be cool, in my opinion. I just want to my whole thing is like, big dudes don't have a lot of great matches with big dudes. But I've grown up and trained with all sizes, so maybe we can have a really good match. That's basically my whole thing.
There you go. All right, Dodge, you're up.
All right. So this next question is brought to you by Pandemonium Day.
Here we go.
I'm eventually going to know what this panda story is.
Nate can tell you this time. I had to tell the other person.
Okay, so there's a lady in Colorado Springs who just won the heavyweight championship.
She thinks she won.
And there's no bigger Pandemonium fan than the guy up at the top there, Tony. So
he's
her
obsessed.
name is Pandemonium. So now every time him and Dodge get together, Tony has to mention Panda about a half a dozen times, if not more.
Well, no, and you forgot the part where he threatened to hurt the poor innocent panda by throwing apples at her and trying to kill her.
Hello, if a panda can't catch
hungry?
an apple, then that's on her, not me.
Plus, you don't know if she's not hungry.
Okay, Dodge, ask your damn question.
Have you ever wrestled in Southern California?
I have not.
And what's that noise I'm hearing, Mr. Driver, sir?
It's not mine.
Oh, somebody else's.
That I know of.
I forgive. Sorry.
You're all good. So you haven't wrestled in Southern California?
I have not. I'd be down to, but just trying to find a promotion to bring me out there and everything. I've wrestled in, of course, all over Tennessee. I've wrestled in Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky, and Ohio.
We'll be in talks, my friend, because I know promotions out there in Southern California, and I got them wrapped around. I mean, I'm good friends with them.
That's freaking sweet.
You wish you had a.
Oh, I do, just like that panda of yours. Just saying.
Well, I mean, if you're wrapped around your little finger, your boys be booked than they are.
Ask your question.
I believe it's Nathan's turn. Go ahead.
I like to compare people on this show sometimes, not all the time, but with your intensity, somebody crossed my mind that I don't know if you've heard before, which would be the alpha male Monty Brown from
TNA?
TNA. Yeah.
From TNA, yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's kind of who you reminded me of with the intensity side of it. Like, because he just went in there, like, just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was like full board. That was kind of the same vibe I got watching your stuff. So.
I appreciate that. That's a good name to be compared to.
Better than a freaking panda.
Pandemonium Day. Pandemonium Day. Pandemonium Day.
It's like being on repeat. All right, go ahead,
Tony
Dodge.
Khan. Oh, what happened?
Tony.
Tony's. He has an announcement.
In your opinion, sir, who's the better wrestler turned actor?
Oh. Are we talking like for the business or like skill aspect?
That's a good way to put that.
Wow.
Let's go skill.
For skill, I mean, technically that'd be John Cena because I believe John Cena has some better moves than The Rock. I know that's very hard to say, but I've seen John Cena do more moves than I have Dwayne do more than Dwayne's moves.
Amen. Yep.
But I will say they're almost neck and neck when it comes to like bringing eyes to the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early
I would
on,
agree with it.
Dwayne, but as like the 2010s progresses, then I would have to say it's John Cena.
I agree with him.
I do too.
So, your toughest opponent in your career so far?
Cyrus the Destroyer.
That was a quick.
From All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Matt Raby from Total Professional Wrestling brought in Cyrus. And it was actually my birthday. Hunter, I got a great match for you for your birthday. It's like, that's sweet. That's sweet. I'll do it. If you find that match, you'll see some of those brutal chops I've ever taken and ever given. I've never had a man go chop for chop for me before. So like for the first 5 minutes of the match, it's just me and him slugging each other.
Damn.
And to let you know, Dodge, this man can chop. Like, he does some of the hardest chops I've seen in a long time.
I'll believe it when I feel it. Say.
All right, it's your funeral.
I've never done one for it.
I do have another question, so forget Tony Khan's question. How long have you been in the business so far?
Well, then forget
8 years.
How many?
8 years. A lot of people see my and they hear 25 and they're like, "Oh, he's green." But truth of the matter is, I've actually been in the business longer than most guys around me have been total.
Well, keep up the great work.
He's got about the same amount of time as you do, Dodge, and it looks like he's taken more matches and still looks a hell of a lot better than you.
I am big money manager. I don't go in death matches like this guy.
I've done one death match.
Still, you're talking to me. I will know if the money is right and my tombstone is made. We'll talk, but no. I respect people that go in death matches like no other. I respect them. It's insane. I've watched
I've wrestled.
XPW. Oh my
I've
gosh.
wrestled Necro Butcher.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I went toe-to-toe with Necro Butcher. I actually convinced Madman Pondo to start an OnlyFans.
I don't want to.
I'm sorry, that's gonna give me nightmares tonight now.
Right?
Like close my eyes.
Well, we all know Big Money Dodge has started an OnlyFans. I mean, come on.
You gotta make money somewhere, right?
I mean, you also got to have something to offer for them.
I got Dead Panda. Just saying.
That's Live Leaks, not OnlyFans.
Oh, that's right. You're right. You're right. My bad.
Our
Oh.
apologies to the World Wildlife Foundation.
This has been brought to you by Pandemonium.
Pandemonium.
Hi, Pandemonium.
Okay, go Nathan.
So, if you had a dream tag team partner from any generation, who would it be and why?
This is one question I've never been asked.
Take your time.
Dang, that's a real good question. I honestly don't know. Maybe JBL is like a big guy from Texas, big guy from DC, just slugging each other, slugging people. I can get along with that. That'd be fun. Regardless of all the heat, backstage drama can cause.
Oh, that would be sick. That would be a hefty tag team.
That would be a hard hitting tag team.
Yeah, and my brain went right to your guys' like double team finisher. You could do like a double, like a big boot or something. The guy could stagger right into the clothesline from hell. Like,
Yeah, that'd be real awesome. I definitely would work with JBL. I actually like JBL. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, screw him for all his stuff." It's like, truthfully, in my opinion, especially the guys I was raising, a lot of the guys are soft and they just bang it back. They sit there. I was trained that you got to actually learn that stuff. So, like, hazing came along with it, being bullied came along with it. All this stuff was just part of the ring wrestling. You couldn't take the wrestling and how people expect you to take the road. How do you expect to take matches? If something screws up, how are you supposed to take the man? You don't take crap from no one. You become a better wrestler.
I agree with that sentiment. All right. You're up.
Oh,
Or
again.
Tony.
Yeah, Tony Khan. Give it to Tony Khan. He might have an announcement again.
Oh no, it's
It'd probably be something to do with pandas.
okay. Well, if you really want an announcement, I can. Okay, well, if you really want an announcement, I can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I have under good authority.
Keep going.
Can you hear me, Dodge?
Yeah, he's got his
Can you hear me,
headphones back
Dodge?
on.
Okay, there we go. Okay, good. I have under good authority that there is a cute, cuddly, black and white little panda bear that has a message for you. Okay. I guess we don't have a message for him. Moving on. Let's talk about your top 5 female wrestlers of all time. 3, 4, Panda's gonna kill you.
Yep. Top 5 female wrestlers.
So, number 1 for me is Rhea Ripley. She's great. Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, And then like two
Nice.
personal ones that I just enjoyed growing up watching was ODB and Velvet Sky.
ODB was the shit,
Yes.
bro. I'm sorry, ODB
A
was.
lot of people slept on ODB, and like when I mentioned it amongst guys my age, like, who's that?
They missed out.
You missed out.
The weirdest thing I ever saw with ODB was when they put her in a dress for like a week, and I was like, "What are you doing? Like that's not."
TNA, like mid 2000s, was like really peak wrestling. I mean, if
Yep.
you're a guy like coming to my age, I was on the edge of puberty, so they had like a little of it. Like watching Velvet Sky's entrance is awesome, but Bobby Roode and James Storm as Beer Money was awesome too.
Beer Money was the shit. That
Beer
was
Money is
yes.
underrated. One of the best
Big
tag teams of all time.
Yep.
Yep.
Agreed.
I mean, where else can you get a guy riding down to the ring on a beer cooler? I mean, come on. That was
I still want one, dude. I still freaking want one.
Oh, come on. JB Moonshine did it, and you dogged him for it, Nathan. But James
No, he
Storm
did
does
a
it, and you think
toilet.
it's cool as shit.
That's the difference. He got wheeled down on a toilet, not a beer cooler.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed watching Beer Money coming up. One of my favorite memories is actually going to a TNA show that came to Knoxville, and the main event was Beer Money and Jeff Hardy, who was a big Jeff Hardy mark at the time. So I was like working out at like 10, 11 years old. And
I remember that match.
Against, but all I remember was the finish was the last call. So Bobby hit the guy with the bottle, turn around, super kick, then sent Swanton bomb off the top rope. I was marking
nice.
off. I was marking. My aunt even took a photo of me doing the whole Jeff Hardy pose and everything. Yeah, that was one of my favorite memories growing up. Is seeing those three guys tagged together.
And that's when Jeff Hardy had that sweet music too, because he had his own music in TNA.
Yeah, that's when he made his own music. Like I love Jeff Hardy. I've never been the biggest fan, but his early TNA stuff, that was freaking awesome.
Yeah. All right, Dodge, you're up.
I'm always up.
Watch out for flying pandas.
Too much information.
Is this a family show or no?
Yes.
No filter?
Go ahead.
Okay, so you're if somebody in your training facility has been wanting to do a death match, would you recommend them or no?
So like the guys I train, or the guys I help my trainer train, if they want to do a death match, by all means, okay, cool, you want to do a death match, but you gotta know what comes along with it. My home federation is now it's called Total Professional Wrestling. It was once Total Psychopathic Wrestling. And we usually do 1 to 2 death matches a show now. So if they want to do a death match, by all means, do a death match. But you're going to actually have to know how to wrestle before you get to the point where we're okay letting you have it in the ring. Another thing with that too is because a lot of guys we bring in for death matches we can trust. So we got to put you with someone we can trust. They'll carry you through a death match, and we're going to sit there and tell you it's going to hurt. All of it's going to hurt. So you better not be. I don't know how y'all feel about language, but don't be a freaking pussy about it. You better commit to your moves.
Yep. So would you recommend a green, as we call them in the business?
No, I would not recommend someone's first match to death match. I always like, hey, get some experience with doing a regular singles matches, tag team matches. Get how a match flows. Learn ring psychology. Learn, hey, you don't have to do a lot of moves to get over. You don't have to do a ton of flips to get over. You don't have to hit every move in the book to get over. Learn a couple moves that helps your character. Add more as you go into the business. Add more moves as you go in. If you feel comfortable having a death match, by all means.
Love that
I
answer.
like that answer.
I agree.
So, how'd your finisher come to be?
So I started using. So when I first broke in, I started using a fireman's carry neck breaker as my finisher. I didn't want to do a choke slam. I did the big boot, but I did like the Sheamus bro kick style because I want to add a little extra flair behind it. What I learned from doing, but a move I started using as a signature was the Falcon Arrow. And my trainer watched me in matches. That move looks way better than your fireman's carry neck breaker. Start using that move. And just from there on, I started hitting Falcon Arrows on people. And main reason is because I don't really see any guys using them, let alone guys my size. And when done right, it looks really devastating. And it looks like I'm just driving you through the ring with all my weight coming down on top of you. So I was like, this is a unique move for a guy my size. I want to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I saw you. Today. I'm really bad with your opponent's names, and I apologize for that. But it was a smaller guy. You wanted the guy you were in a death match with, but they put that guy up against you instead. And like you did the Falcon Arrow on him, and it looked nasty.
But that's how it came about. My trainer Matt, he said that move looks way cooler than that other move. Start doing that.
Got ya. All right, Dodge.
Oh,
I think
Tony
Tony's
Khan.
doing
Did I
I think
scare
he's getting
Tony
ready to
Khan
do
away?
some stuff.
Oh, darn.
No, he's doing stuff for the Special Olympics.
Let me see. So you would consider coming to Southern California for just a regular match, right? So if I were to find a company for you, you would fly out?
Yeah, I talked to that company and we discussed prices and everything. And yeah, I have no problem traveling. That's what I love doing.
All right.
All right, so let's put your promoter hat on for a minute. If you could book any dream match from any generation, who would be in it and who would you put over?
The match that should have happened, but waited too long, it would have been Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair.
Ooh.
Because that's a big one debated in our area. It's like that should have happened at WWE. Both guys were there at
I
the same
agree.
time. That was a match that should have happened.
Yep.
Ric Flair, I believe that's a 92 Rumble when he won. Yeah, it was a 92 Rumble. He won the title. And personally, politicking aside, my heart would be like, hey, Rick goes over. Because if you're trying to win a Southern audience, you put the Southern guy over.
I agree. And you're right about the 92 Royal Rumble because they had a built-in storyline right there, right?
But yeah, because they also had Hogan helping Flair win by helping get Sid over. So that could have been the whole thing is Hogan comes in and goes, the only reason you have that title is because I helped you. And that could have been the big build up to Mania.
Right.
And especially if WCW starting to gain popularity and starting to get more and more viewers, you put the title and you let the guy from the South go on the guy from New York, that draws more eyes to your side than the other side.
I completely agree. All right, Dodge, you're up.
Sorry, I'm talking to Boom.
But I would say this though, I'd at least it would at least be Hogan wouldn't tap. He'd have to do the pass out thing like Austin did for Brett. So Hulk still keeps his strength. He still looks big and strong. He didn't give up, but Flair still goes over.
That's a
I
good
love
call.
that.
That's a really good call. Let's see. If you were to sign with the top 5 promotions, WWE, AEW, Impact, ROH, or New Japan, which one would it be, and who would you want your very first opponent to be?
Of course, it'd have to be WWE. That's the whole reason I started this. I grew up watching it. I was one of those guys. I was in 2002. I was 4, so like I didn't get to see WCW. I grew up watching WWE. Caught Impact Wrestling around just before 2010, before the whole Bischoff and Hogan took over era.
Yep.
So I got to see all those cool matches early on in TNA when they were trying to get their big name out there, the whole Octagon ring and everything. Of course, I would want to go to WWE. That's hard to say. Main roster wise, like I said, my dream match would be Drew. But if I was just to get my name over, if he's still there, I can't remember. It's been a minute. But Braun, of course, big man, big man. So there's that visual.
That would be a hell of a match.
That would be a hell of a match. And Braun is still there. He's just out with neck surgery.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. But that would be a good match. That would be just 2 tall, massive dudes against each other.
That would be a big money match.
And athletic. I mean, you would have 2 guys that could move. So.
Yep, I agree.
Plus, isn't Braun from like Asheville, North Carolina, or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, North Carolina. Yeah.
Literally, Asheville, North Carolina is just on the other side of the mountains from Knoxville, so it's like right in that local area.
Wow. So
Yeah.
there's a built story right there. So.
Yeah, you can have like the 2 monsters from each side of the Appalachians thing going on.
Dude, I'd so fly over there for that match.
Me too. I don't care if you gotta like hide me in the baggage claim just so I can fly over there because right now they don't have a way for my wheelchair to get over there, but I'll make it one way or the other.
Yeah, I'd pay for that.
So let's keep on the Booker thing. If you could book a WrestleMania card with like 6 matches, what would the matches be, and who would be in them?
From current roster or what?
Any generation.
Let's go. Any.
All right, man. It's hard to say because you have so many different ways going into this.
Yep.
Like, in my personal opinion, WrestleMania X7 is one of the best stacked cards you have. Just overall, that whole WrestleMania is near top notch as you can get.
Yeah.
Especially with the TLC matches going on. So that was a big thing. I would definitely do something like that. Something innovative with a bunch of tag teams because that was peak tag team era. They said tag teams. Early 2000s was the greatest time to be a tag team in WWE.
Yep.
Man, there's so many. So, man, I can't decide. I'm always just going to sit there and go back and forth, like here, this era, but this year, but this guy was there in this year.
Right.
He asked you the hard-hitting question.
He did. I would have to say my title, my main event. I'll give it the first ever storyline I got into in WWE. I'll give it Randy Orton Triple H. There's a story there, and I started watching in 2006, 2007. That's when Randy started punting the McMahons,
Oh yeah.
As long as Triple H could get his balls out of Stephanie's purse.
But yeah, that'd be main card. That'd be my main event. I would do Taker Shawn was beautiful. That's my favorite match.
Really. Yeah.
Taker Shawn is beautiful. I might keep that. Make it third round 3. Taker Shawn. Prime Taker Shawn, not like Supercard or Super Showdown or whatever it was in Australia.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be a good one. Then all right. So this would be an indie match, the end all indie matches. Hardy Boys versus Team DIY, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano.
Oh. Whew.
Damn. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
That'd be an indie match to end all indie matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a first.
Yes, actually, it was.
That'd be my tag team women's match. My girls card. You know, personally, so I'm going to put this out there because I think it should have happened when they had all of them. When they had Ronda, Shayna, Maria Shafir, and that I can't think of the other name. I would put those 4.
Jessamine Duke.
Jessamine Duke, yes. I would have put them against Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, and Becky. So you got the 4 horsemen of MMA versus 4 horsemen of WWE.
Wow.
That would
Thank you. Somebody else thinks the same way I do.
I was like, you had them there. You had them outside. Why didn't you do it? I know the 2 girls couldn't catch on quickly, but you had them there.
It's Vince. Go figure.
You know how to put people in that don't catch on quickly. You just have everybody else kind of cover for them around it and still make it look good.
You do a whole Survivor Series style where they can get eliminated. So you let the 2 girls that do know how to wrestle, Ronda and Shayna, go through and start knocking out 2 of the other girls. And they're prepared.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I like
for my last match, for my curtain, Prime Edge versus current Drew McIntyre.
Cool. I like that.
I like that too.
Very good. So you should take over Vince's job. I'm just saying.
Yep.
That would be easy to do.
Everybody's a booker. Everybody's a good booker in hindsight, but you know,
I agree with that.
You should have done this, but I'm not there to dictate what's going on at all. So I don't know what's going on.
So I don't know if they asked you this, but your scariest injury.
My scariest injury. That's very hard to tell because I've actually had a lot of injuries that I just powered through.
Well, yeah, you're 7 foot. Of course you would.
I gotta tell my trainees, like, if you're going to get hurt, I'm the wrong person to complain to. I've dislocated my left knee 3 times wrestling and my right knee twice, and I've shot them back. I've shot them back into place during matches. I fractured my ankle training. I fractured my lower spine training and kept going. I had a motorcycle wreck where I totaled the bike and spun and smacked a guardrail. And like 2 days later, I was in a ring. I wrecked on a Thursday. I went and did a show on Saturday.
What the
I
fuck?
went,
Wow.
I had to take the gravel and asphalt out of my wounds, patched me over, and I went and wrestled like the next day.
Just put duct tape. It's okay. It's okay. Let's go.
I did a match with bronchitis. Well, I had bronchitis.
Woo. Throw me out of the ring.
Okay, please take this with all the respect in the world. It's like a tall version of Sabu.
Yeah.
Just give him Norco or Vicodin. He'll go
I can
all out.
still fight. I'm still alive.
I did I was part of a promotion in Southern California. They had Sabu do a death match against, I believe it was Mr. California. And Sabu came up to me before the show. You have any Norco or Vicodin or something? I was all like, no. So nobody had any for him, right? Because this is like maybe a year or two ago. He goes in the ring less than 2-3 minutes tops. He rolls out of the ring and he can't finish the match because no one had pain pills for him.
Wow.
And he was so pissed. Yeah, it was. I was like, well, if I had known he was going to ask, I would have brought in some. Because I know Sabu in deathmatch, he goes above and beyond.
But
yeah, that guy's ancient. I love the guy.
The scariest one for me. Okay, so even though I'm freaking tall, I've been in ladder matches, and I've been in 2 total, and they're all like multi-man ladder matches. My biggest bump I ever took off one, I was on a top of the 8 with another guy. I was whispering to him, "Hey, you want to get this ladder spot?" He goes, "Sure, which way?" And with all my weight, I throw both of us off the ladder. I go, "This way."
Oh.
Oh.
But the worst one, I was on top of another ladder, and this greenhorn was in there, and he was dangerous. Well, I honestly don't know how long he's been in, so I can't really call him a greenhorn. But I knew he was dangerous. He drop kicks the ladder out from underneath me, behind me, so I didn't even know he was coming in, so I couldn't recognize. The ladder flips out, and I do like unintentional moonsault and land on top of my head and roll backwards to a corner.
Oh. Damn.
Yeah, what a massage that must have been.
Yeah.
Ow. I thought my concussions were bad, but oh boy.
So I have a follow-up to your WrestleMania card. Have you ever been to a WrestleMania?
I have not. I've not been to any pay-per-views.
The best experience I've ever had is I went to WrestleMania 19.
Oh, yeah?
Where Brock took on Kurt Angle.
And Brock about broke his neck.
You could hear a pin drop in that place.
You know, in OVW, that was his finish.
I know. That's why everybody was like, "Oh, he's doing it again," and then, yeah. So, Dodge, you're up.
Okay. I had a question, but then it went just. Have we asked him his favorite indie wrestlers?
No.
Favorite 5 indie wrestlers that you know or heard of?
So, my top 5, I want to keep this personal to the guys I know, because I know them personally, and that's big. Toby Farley,
Okay.
All right. Victor Andrews. What's his name? Caleb Courageous. He's really good. Alex Zane. I know he got signed for a minute, but then he got released. He's big in the local area. And I don't recall if he's signed still to OVW or not. Jake Lawless. Underrated, but if you watch his stuff, me and him were boys. He's great wrestling. He was actually the nephew to Burt Prentice. So he
Ooh, okay.
he
Wow.
grew up knowing the business.
That's always a benefit.
In your opinion, who's doing a better job as a promoter? I'm gonna do a combo thing because we all know Vince McMahon's still involved. Triple H and Vince McMahon, Tony Khan, or Scott D'Amore in Impact.
Well, I haven't watched a lot of Impact lately, so I can't say anything on Scott. I've met Scott personally. Hell, so my whole thing is I would have to say Vince and Triple H. Triple H, like telling Vince, like, hey, this is what we need to keep. Triple H coming in and rehiring all the guys Vince fired was one of the greatest decisions.
Yep.
That saved WWE, in my opinion. And with a bunch of guys that Triple H backs, I believe is the best booking decision and the best way to do it. No threat on Tony Khan, but I don't know how the locker room is in there, but the locker room divided can't stand. So if they're not divided, they're not divided. They are. But personally, I've never been the biggest CM Punk fan. I've always respected him, but I'd gladly talk to the dude. I have no problem with it. I doubt he'll see this and doubt call me out or whatever. But I've never been the biggest CM Punk fan for a reason. I've always got a weird feeling about him. I respect his work. I think he was great in ROH. I love the promo he did when did get signed to WWE and he won the ROH title. And he sat there and said he's going to lay the ROH championship on Vince McMahon's desk, and everybody lost their mind.
Yep.
I thought that was one of the greatest moments in ROH history because everybody's like, "Oh, he's going to do it." Nobody wins the match on your way out. Nobody wins the title on your way out. Yeah, that'd be my whole thing. But it could change. Whatever the CM Punk Young Bucks drama is. And truthfully, I've never been a Young Bucks fan either.
Wow.
I've never honestly been a Young Bucks fan.
Got you. My opinion on the CM Punk thing is not so much the supposed fight that happened because we're never gonna know what happened in the locker room. Only the people that were in the room. It was what he said at the media scrum that bothered me because if you're going to throw that many people under the bus, then how can you go back into the locker room after that?
That's a good point, too. I never understood the media scrub, too. Like, it's supposed to make it look like it's a shoot, but it's also a worked business. So is it a shoot or is it a work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask my last question of the evening, good sir. Where can your fans and people that have been watching this interview find you on social media? When's your next match? Who's it against? And where is it?
So you can find me on Instagram under Hunter Wolf PW, Facebook under Hunter Wolf, Twitter, I believe, is also Hunter Wolf PW. And my email is hunterwolfprowrestling@gmail.com. My next match is actually Sunday. I'll be going up to Johnson City area for School Morton Live, SOM Live, 505 Live, however you want to call it. That's Ricky Morton's school. He does a lot of great stuff up there, bringing in new talent while building his own homegrown stuff there, too. There's also a fair show coming up July 26th, I believe it is, for School of Morton. But I also have a show next week in Knoxville Tennessee, at the Chatterbox Tavern for Total Professional Wrestling against my trainer, my best friend, Matt Ramey. Teacher versus student, first ever trainee versus I'm his first ever trainee. He's my first trainer. So it's a first versus first match going on. So yeah, we get to see if we can counter each other's moves that we taught each other or not.
And what was the Instagram? Sorry, I'm trying to find you.
Hunter Wolfe PW.
Oh,
And
there
then
you are. Gotcha.
I'll go ahead and ask mine, but first I want to bring up something. We're doing in about a year. We're gonna run our own promotion, which is IPW in Pullman, Washington. And if you're available, I'd love to have you come down and wrestle.
Absolutely.
It's a benefit show for the Special Olympics also. So
absolutely. We've done a lot of charity work down here. A lot of guys down here, we've actually done, we've paid for inner city school supplies. Like 2 years straight, we've done that before. There's a little girl that needed a new heart, and me and Matt put on a show, and we actually paid for her medical bills.
Wow.
That's
much respect, brother.
We've done kids with cancer shows. We put on special shows just for them where the kids go through and pick out who they want to wrestle who. Especially with that. My mom did a lot of work with special needs kids growing up. Matt's son is autistic, so we have that big connection to special needs kids. We did a lot of work with them. Had a lot of charity work growing up, especially coming into the years. We did that together.
So
much respect on that one.
Yes, and like I said, I'll keep you updated when it gets, we get more of the details.
Awesome.
And I want to do the 3 sponsors. So actually 4. I keep forgetting about our newest one. So Dodge, you want to hold up the pamphlet so I can do Tony's spot? Everybody, go check out the Big Money Compound, which starting in July, I believe the middle part of July, he'll be doing online classes for anybody that wants to learn like the fundamentals about pro wrestling. Even if you've been in the business and you just want to like a refresher or that kind of stuff, it's $25 every Tuesday and Thursday, or $150 for a month. And you can find Big Money Dodge on Instagram and the Big Money Compound, and then Steve Dodge on Facebook and Big Money Dodge on Facebook also. Also, I'd like to thank the CARE program, which stands for Community Action Reaching Everybody. And then Bruce Nichols Painting for all your painting, pressure washing, and lead removal needs. And then P-Rex who is our fourth sponsor, so thank you for that. And I'd like to thank our guests for coming on tonight.
Well,
thank you very much,
sir.
Thank y'all for having me.
And it was a blast, and you're welcome back anytime.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
All right. Thank you very much.
Good night.
I'll see y'all.
All right. Thanks.